So now, what is your portfolio today? What are you doing? Fill us in, bring us up to speed.
Yeah, so I moved out of custom building, and last year, well, actually it was during COVID, I jumped into the Clubhouse rooms and learned so much.
Clubhouse, anybody? Clubhouse? Yeah.
Did nothing with the information, but I was so informed of what I could do. And I want to learn about all these things. Car washes, multifamily, those are all interesting to me. And I learned about hotel ownership in one of those Clubhouse rooms. And it just seemed so far-fetched that I didn't take it any further than that. So that was COVID, and then last year I ended up at the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus in DC, and there was a lady there who was the first black woman who's held a general contractor license in the state of Florida, and she pushed me. I ran into her probably 2 months before that, and she pushed me to say, hey, you need to go to this event. And I said, well, my flight is that morning, so I can't. And she was like, but you should go. And I didn't have clothes, I didn't have a hotel, and I just decided I'm going with it. I just took her advice, and I ended up at this NABHOOD event where they were talking about hotel ownership for minorities and how the brands are creating programs to provide resources to make it possible. Well, then that led into another event. 2 weeks later, Marriott was doing an event for, forget what Bridging the Gap, I want to say is what it's called. And while I was there found this program, She Has a Deal with Shad, and I still thought the idea of ownership was great, but the resources just seemed overwhelming, especially with me already having an active business. How do I jump into something new? So after the panel, got in conversation with her, and she mentioned how she has this structured program and she lays it all out. She spent 7 years of learning what to do and what not to do, and she wanted to share that. And with my business, I had to learn the hard way. I spent 7 years learning mostly what not to do, and I was trying to figure out how to pivot. And my interest the entire time was commercial. I used residential as a stepping stone, and I knew that commercial would need to be my next step at some point. I just never felt ready. So when I met Tracy and she had the program, and she said, well, it actually started yesterday, but if you're interested, you've got to apply tonight. So I did, and part of the program requires a pitch. Part of it is a pitch competition. And normally I would say, okay, I need to find a different program. That is not for me. But this time I said, I'll just figure that part out when we get to it. This is the only one I know of. The conversation was good enough where I felt that I could receive whatever, she was willing to share. She seemed like she would make for a great mentor. So joined the program a week late, and then started to learn everything about hotels and loved it. There's so many different tracks, not just ownership. And then she has several deals that, where she started at one point not having the capital, not having the network to do a multi-million-dollar raise, but she ended up pulling it off, and she's done it like 5 times over at this point.